Hey everyone, I can see you guys over here in the chat. Awesome. I'm just waiting just a few minutes, give a few more people to come in to get their invites, get everything set up, and then we're going to get started. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get started here. My name is Kayla Williams. I am the Homeschool Advisor here at Talentnook, and today we're doing Homeschool 101, Know How and Why to Homeschool. So I'm going to be going over your options, your different options for the state of California. For homeschooling. If you are located within a different area, you can feel free to email me, which I'm going to have that information come up in just a moment, or ask your questions here. We'll take them down and I will be able to address those at a later time. But for today, let's go ahead and get started. This right here is going to be my contact information. As you can see at the bottom, my email is super easy, kayla.williams@talentnook.com. So if you get out of this webinar and you have any questions or concerns that haven't been addressed or that you think of afterwards, which we know happens as parents, you could just shoot me an email and we can set up a call, or I can email you back, whatever form of communication is best for you. So here's what we're going to be going over today. Your homeschool options. And homeschooling is all about what works best for your family. There's been a lot of changes in 2020, not just for COVID-19, but COVID-19 has brought to light a lot of different options, and it's changed a lot of what homeschooling looks like, and even laws that are being established or changed towards homeschooling to make it easier for parents to access. So today we're going to be going over those options, because sometimes whenever you hear homeschooling, it can feel very overwhelming. It can feel a lot like there's too much, too much information that's being thrown at you left and right. So I've tried to break it down to these, easy steps as to what your options are. So your first option is establishing your own private school at home. Your second option is a private satellite program. Third option is public school independent study program. And your fourth option is tutoring via a credentialed teacher. So let's get into this. So your first option is establishing your own private school. This is the option that gives you the most freedom. This is where you get to make every decision whenever it comes to your child's homeschooling schedule, curriculum, everything. This would involve filing what's called a PSA, or a private school affidavit, online. This is normally filed every October. October is, of course, coming, but There have been some changes to the rules. Within different counties, they're actually allowing parents to go ahead and file those sooner, and there are certain counties that are also allowing you to file those later, so that you can get those private schools set up at home. So from here, you'll be establishing your school at your home. You're agreeing that you're going to be teaching subjects that are similar to those taught in homeschool, which are generally the 4 core subjects of science, math, English language arts, and history. But as the parent, you get to pick your own curriculum, your graduation requirements, number of attendance days, number of hours in a school day, and your grading criteria. This gives, like I said, the most flexibilities for parents. This is the most popular option in the state of California for homeschoolers. Then you have your private school satellite programs, or PCPs. They usually charge either a family fee or a tuition, depending on where you're located, which one you're going to be going through, what school district you're in. They do require that certain records be turned in throughout the year. Generally, this is done by the semester. Some of them do break it down by every 9 weeks or so as well. Again, that just depends on your location. They have curriculum guidelines, grade standards that have to be met, and testing requirements, such as standardized tests that have to be taken. The biggest advantage here is the accountability that's provided. So generally, when you're a part of a PSP, they will keep track of all of your attendance and grades for you that you turn into them. And so, you know, keeping track of those, it does make it a little bit easier on the parents. And sometimes, I mean, we just need that little bit of help. There are some that, because they have certain curriculum guidelines, they will assist in that curriculum build, but that's not always the case. From what we've found speaking to various school districts, especially right now, they're definitely overwhelmed in people who are trying to become part of this program. So there can be a bit of a waiting list for this option, but it is the second favorite option for the state of California. Your third option is the public school independent study program. So enrolling your child in this program is basically the equivalent of enrolling them in a public school. The public school ISPs, or Independent School Study Program, they vary widely, school district to school district, on the level of control they have. As far as curriculum, grading, it really just depends which one you decide to be a part of. So there's a lot of school districts that before this year were not participating in ISPs. That, of course, has changed in 2020. There are a lot of school districts that are setting things up, getting things ready, so that instead of just offering, you know, virtual option through their school, they'll be able to offer the public ISPs to everyone. And then the last option that I'm going to go over is going to be tutoring via a credentialed teacher. Now, this is one of the least popular options, but it does have the most accountability, and it's very strict. They have to follow certain guidelines. This would be a teacher that is actually accredited with a multiple subject teaching credential, which means that they would be able to teach in all grade levels, and they would be able to teach all classes. As you can tell on this slide, and I'm not going to read all of this to you, you're going to be able to get a recording of this later after our broadcast. But as you can tell, there are a lot of rules and regulations to follow. Children have to be studying at least 3 hours a day. There is 175 days that have to be met with curriculum. There's certain times even that students have to be taught. So this is a very strict option. It is definitely doable, but it is the least favorite. And I think it is only because of those restrictions. And homeschooling is about being able to be flexible, being able to, you know, teach your kids and have things roll better with your family, especially right now during these times. Right here, we just have a chart that's comparing your options. This just kind of makes it easy. Everything that I've put together, it makes it easy to see which ones have enrollment fees, who chooses their curriculum, who's in charge of paying for things, who's assigning grades. So this just breaks everything down for you. One thing that I haven't quite touched on yet is going to be the standardized testing requirements. The only one that has that as a requirement is going to be your public school ISP. So where those are required, that just means that once a year, once every other year, we're going to be going in, and generally the school district will help you do this, to take standardized tests such as the PACT, SATs. There's a whole variety of them. So Talentnook, where do we fall into this? We are right there for you. No matter what option you choose, we're right here. We have, of course, me on as our homeschool advisor, and I can be there to help you through your journey. I can help you to get set up with the right tutor, with the right teacher. I can help explain further into your homeschooling options and how exactly to file an affidavit if you need that. We also have focus and tech-enabled learning programs. So we have programs that can help your children prepare for the SAT. We have curriculum building programs. There's handpicked teachers and tutors. We're bringing on teachers now more than ever before that can assist you in building your entire curriculum. We have teachers that can also assist with each and every class that your child needs to take. And that includes extracurriculars such as, music, things like that. And of course, we have our complete satisfaction guarantee. So let's go over here. Looking at the big picture, and I can't stress this enough to families, homeschooling is about what is best for your family. So I tell everyone that it isn't for 100% of families, but most families can do it. It seems very unobtainable, but it truly is something that once you get into, and once you get into your schedule and your routine, you realize just how easy it can be and how much easier it can be on your children getting outside of the pressure of being involved with public school. So I saw it looks like we have, let me go right here. I'm going to close this out. And do we have any questions right now about anything that we have gone over? I wanted to be able to set aside time for everyone to ask questions, see what they have concerns about. I'm just going to give you guys a minute in the chat. Here we go. And I know that it seems like, I went over this rather quickly, but these are the homeschool options. It's whenever you can look at it in this manner instead of a huge, document that's 3 pages long, it does break down into something that is easy to digest. And that's exactly what I wanted to be able to bring to you today. I wanted you to see that there are 4 options, and even though that can in itself can seem overwhelming, it is obtainable. It's here, and Talentnook is already ready to go and to help you in this process. Let's see here. All right, guys, here we go. Oh, here we go. If you start homeschooling but want your child to go back to school, can they? Yes, of course they can. So in keeping your records, no matter what option that you choose, you'll be keeping records of your child's progress. So you'll know exactly what grade they're in. You'll know exactly where they land. Some school districts do insist that if your child is going from homeschooling into public school, that they might take a test to see where they evaluate to. But that's a super easy process, and it doesn't take long to do. Thank you for the question, Sam. Yeah, Danielle, we can go back to slide 8. Give me just a moment. And I can get in over here. And like I said before, you will be able to get a recording of this afterwards. Here we go. That's slide 8, and that's our comparing options chart. Of course. Here we go. I'll just keep that up there for a second. And as you can see, the only option that actually has someone putting together and building your complete curriculum for you is whenever you do the public school ISP. And like I said, that one is more so where the parent would be acting as an aid to the teacher. There's still definitely a lot of parental involvement there. Everything else is, you know, you going in, being able to choose your curriculum, and that's a lot of where, especially here at Talentnook, we're able to help out with our teachers. And give y'all just a second. Any more questions? Can credentialed tutors be helpful for homeschool children who need letter of recommendation for college? Most definitely. Even if you do not go with the option 4, which is the credentialed tutor route, those teachers can still come in and definitely be helpful. They are really good with test prep, even helping out with college applications, college essays, things like that. So credentialed tutors, teachers, both ways. We do have a lot of people that would be able to assist you there. And we do have one question that I do tend to get a lot of would be, when do you know when they graduate? Or even go from next grade to next grade, even something as simple as 4th to 5th grade, not just graduating high school. In that would actually be a part of your curriculum. Whenever you signed up, you saw that this is going to be a 3-part webinar series, and I am going to be going into more detail about that in our next webinar about how to homeschool and what that's going to look like. So I'll be going over how to keep track of the grades, what schedules look like, and even though that sounds very overwhelming, I'm going to try to break it down very easily, because as I've said before, if you get down everything into a schedule and into a routine, things go a lot smoother and a lot easier. I'm gonna give just another minute or so to see if there's any more questions that come in. And if there's any other slides that you guys would like to view again, just let me know. I did have a homeschooling parent that emailed me a question earlier that might be helpful here while I have you guys. So they emailed earlier and said, hey, what exactly do I need to do as far as filing the affidavit for school? And I won't go into extreme detail here, but it is super easy. And I do have guidelines for that I'm currently going to be putting together as a resource for you parents to make that process go even smoother with your school districts. But once you fill out that form and turn it in, you're officially a homeschooler, even while they're in the midst of processing, because your school year can start as soon as you get that turned into them. So even if you just started out the school year, because I know a lot of people, a lot of different districts in the area have already started their school year, whether virtual or partial. If you've already started your school year, you can still go ahead and make that switch if that's something that you want to do. Technically, at any point in time in the school year, you can make the switch from public school to any one of our 4 options. All right, it looks like that is about it. I really appreciate everyone participating today and joining us here. If you have any questions or concerns, you can always give me an email at Kayla, Kayla .williams@talentnook.com. Thank you for your time. You have a great day.